And you don't think that just by voicing the Om, even if you do it right, but the students do not because they're not used to it, you don't think that, for example, the Om takes on the role of creating a sacred space versus a non-sacred space?
That's a very good point. So what I find is that when I do it and nobody else does it, I feel like I'm taking up too much space. I feel like I'm imposing too much on the group. That's been my experience, and maybe I'm a little overly sensitive about that, but I feel like I'm not making enough room for the other people. So it works better at the end of the class. So if we don't do it, we start the class in some particular way, and then if we end with oming, that actually seems to work better. Mm-hmm. I don't think it matters so much about the sound then, and it's more of a natural kind of expression of where people are. Mm-hmm. That's my feeling.
And it is an interesting kind of assessment tool as a teacher. Like when you do it at the beginning and when you do it at the end, the quality is almost always remarkably different. And it is a way to assess in the dissonance or in the kind of flow and resonance of it, where people are at and how kind of already there they are. Mm-hmm. Have they got there in the class and arrived, or are they still in that process of arriving? Mm-hmm. And at the end, it's not always resonant at the end, although it is more frequently resonant at the end. And I think then it's much more about, how did the group come together and how did the sequence interact with them and how did it create a unifying experience, an integrating experience for everyone.
For the individual and then for the group.
Exactly.
The individuals within the group, yeah. And so then the energy in the room.
Totally. And it's one of the ways that then as a teacher I kind of measure the...
Yeah, but that means that the Om then it becomes just an assessment tool.
Not just,
but
that is
a
an
significant
aspect
part
of it.
Wow.
From the teacher's perspective, it can be. Right. I mean, because sometimes you meet a group, and then you're going to be meeting this group for many weeks, and this group is maybe a little bit more difficult than another group. It is a way to say, am I on the right track with these people? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not the only reason I do it. It's like a benefit. It's not the reason I do it. It's a benefit of doing it. That then it gets to be this assessment as well. But that's not the rationale for it.
Right, but is one of the rationale creating sacred space versus non-sacred space?
Yeah, I use it as a demarcation of rest of life, practice life.
And in that